Welcome to the Limelight podcast, where authors, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders step forward to share their ideas, stories, and strategies. I'm Clarissa Burt, inviting you into thoughtful dialogue, refined insight, and an esteemed way of living. Hey everybody, it's Clarissa here. We are back in the limelight. We're back in the limelight with Karen A. Herrera, who wrote a book that we all need to know about. Even if you're a guy, even if you're a man, you need to know what's right, Karen, what's going on in this book. This is the best way you'll be able to know how to support the woman that you love in your life. It is perimenopause. Hello, and I'm not even in perimenopause. Perimenopause Clarity. There you go. And it is a holistic and scientific guide to navigating hormones, embracing change, and reclaiming your energy, confidence, and joy. Oh, my Lord. Well, I have to say I'm long past being out of menopause, but I do remember the days when, as you say, you were standing in your kitchen and you went in and you opened the refrigerator and you're like, what am I doing here? Why did I come in here? I don't know. Well, wait a minute. Let me see. Am I pregnant? I'm just, the focus was just not there. Is that how it kind of started for you?
Yeah. And, the reason that that's always stood out for me is because I also have ADHD. So I've been on medication for that for a while.
Yeah.
And whenever all of a sudden the menopause starts hitting, you don't know really what's going on. And I talk to my doctors and they're thinking, well, maybe we should up your medication.
Yeah. Oh.
Because you seem too young or this or that, or you don't look like a golden girl yet. All of these things that we all assume. And so, yes, that was one of the things that was like, okay. And then, of course, the other typical, periods are a little weird, but mine have always been a little weird because of different types of birth control I was on over the years. So there were a lot of signs happening that I had no idea.
All the things, right. And as you say, it's so different for everyone. I mean, there's no cookie cutter in all of this, right? Everybody, is going to go through it and it's going to be different. I had, even through the menopause portion, I had symptoms that other women, of course, I got them all, me. I had to get them all, but there are a lot of women that didn't get what I got. Like my mother was like, I don't know what I know what you're talking about, Chrissy, because I never went through that. Thanks, Mom.
Same thing with my mom. She's like, I don't know, maybe you should go to you should go to the doctor. I don't know what's going on with you.
Exactly.
So I really had no guidance from her. Same as you.
And I think even the doctors were, whatever. Let's just put that aside. Well, that's another chapter. We'll do that on another podcast. But and then and I'm just throwing a monkey wrench in here. We just found out 7-8 months ago about the black box, where we were all, and especially I'm 67, so my age group, those who a little bit came before me and those that came after me. We got really screwed, if I can say that, if I can say that on a podcast, in the process, because of all the things, right? Anything that we need isn't covered by insurance. It's never covered.
It's finally starting to, which is great. Right. And fortunately, with them lifting that whole black box BS that was going on with the bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, now the states are going, oh, okay. Whereas whenever I started them 4 years ago, I'm paying out of pocket every time. And it was worth every single penny because of the relief that I was finally getting. You know? So,
and I did the, when I went into the hormone replacement therapies.
Yes.
And, and there you go. I mean, you're on it and it's fine and it seems okay, but the expense of it is no joke. I mean,
it's not.
I also was on the thyroid medication. And so just to say the expense of it all is something that can be difficult to affront for a lot of women. I mean, there's not that a lot of extra income for things like that. Anyway, again, I digress. So in the beginning for you had started to make this kind of like a blog or a diary. You were kind of keeping notes for yourself before you wrote the book.
Yeah. So it's because I was always, wanted to pursue a dream of becoming a writer. And so I would off and on write little essays or just funny stuff over the years.
Right.
And I was in the middle of writing a funny essay about perimenopause whenever my story was I got laid off from a job and I decided, it's finally time for me to put something out in the world. And I'm already working on this. And all of my girlfriends are, oh my gosh, this and that, and it would be helpful to have something that was written from just a woman's perspective versus a doctor's perspective, because yes, there are books out there that are written by doctors and they're great and they're getting so much better, thank God. Yeah. But you
They
know,
don't have the
I'm
experience of a
reading stuff from
woman.
Suzanne Summers or what, other things that
Yes.
years ago, and
Yes.
that's just not as current as it needs to be anymore,
She
right? So
really
it's
was,
like,
she
so
was
let me go
great.
ahead and put something out there from our perspective because I still was not getting help from my doctors, gynecologists, what have you. So after everything I'd put together and then throw as much humor into it as possible because we have
Yeah.
to laugh at what's going on to get through some of this.
Yeah, of course.
I created that guy that I was hoping that I could have had, some Tina Fey's version of perimenopause,
Yeah,
something like just
exactly.
to be a little bit funnier, but also have some
All the
remedies for
juicy stuff
women,
in
all the
there.
different kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say that perimenopause isn't a hormonal transition, but it's an identity transition, what do you mean by that?
So I think that's kind of twofold for most women, right? Because we start going through perimenopause, if we have had children, when they're older. And so we're going through that life phase where children are getting off on their own or they're finding themselves.
Yeah.
Women aren't spending as much time with them. So now we're going back to also finding ourselves in the middle of this hormonal transition that makes us feel like we don't know ourselves.
Yeah.
So it is not just the hormones that's going on, but the life stage is happening too, where now it's time to us to revisit who we are.
Yes.
And now we're asking these questions like, I don't even know, again, where did I put my keys or my phone that's right in my hand?
Yeah.
But I don't know who myself is either at this moment.
Yeah.
So during that time, it's multiple transitions that are going on, which is it's a blessing in disguise for so many reasons, right? Because we can start focusing a little bit more on what really matters to us as we're transitioning
Right.
and questioning what's happening with our bodies and our minds. Now we can really go into, okay, well, what matters to me now as well? And so all of those things are happening to us, most of us around the same time,
Well, here's
if
another
that makes
piece of all of
sense.
that as we are learning about it, because it's
Mhm.
the first time for everything, and as you say, there's not, I guess there are more books now than they were in my day or my mom's
Oh,
day,
yeah.
but you understand the education around all of this is not handed to you on a silver platter. It's
No.
kind of where you have to go digging in and find out. Now you also have the piece where you have to kind of educate the man in your life because he has no idea what's going on either. So as you kind of really don't know, you're kind of trying to say, well, honey, this is what's happening. This is what's changing. This is
Yeah.
why I'm a little, more moody, or I'm not in the mood to eat, or, all
Right.
the things.
I mean,
Yeah.
I talk extensively. In fact, I finally got my Substack launched, which is just yay. But one
Yay.
of the things I talked about was like, okay, there's the Karen that is before hormones that didn't really care if she ever had sex again. And there's a
Right.
Karen after that's like, okay, wow,
Yeah.
I finally am back. But if you think of all the women that aren't getting that kind of help
Yeah.
and their partners are going, okay,
Yeah.
is it stress? Is it me? Is it my breath? What's going on?
Yeah.
And the women are like, I don't know, but don't touch me.
And
And
this is why so many marriages fall apart. You see what I
yeah,
mean? So again, if women were educated and they had the right tools at the ready, as opposed to I got to go figure out what's wrong with me, and then if I figure it out, then I got to go get the hormones. Do I really want to take them, and what's it going to cost me? I may not have the money
yes,
for that. So yeah,
yes. And then, yeah, it's affecting our partners, it's affecting our
yes,
work
yes,
because
yeah,
it's happening almost in the prime of life. And then we're
yes,
starting to question our abilities in the workforce anymore as well,
yeah.
because it's like, yeah,
Yeah. And this is why so many
it's tough.
successful women start doubting themselves, in a
Yeah.
really big way. I think this is probably a really big, I wrote a book about self-esteem. So I'm going to say it's a self-esteem
Yes,
hit. It's a huge
it does.
self-esteem hit. Yeah.
Comes and kicks you in the ass, slaps you in the
Right.
face.
Right.
You start feeling like you're getting your groove on, and then your groove
Mhm.
is immediately interrupted, and we don't know what's going on. And it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It affects our self-esteem.
Yep. And the body changes. Let's throw them in
Yeah.
there. And the hair loss. Let's throw that in there. You
Yeah, the
know.
hair
Yeah.
loss and the hair that starts growing in the places you're
Yes.
like,
You never thought
excuse
it
me,
would. Yeah.
what is going? Yeah.
Oh, girl, I got you. I get it.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
we get it.
again,
Uh,
it is the whole, this is what's happening. It's normal. It sucks, but it can be good because we can now get the remedies and the help. And it is
right.
finally starting to be a little bit more
Yeah, let's start
available.
talking about
But
the good stuff. We talked about all the bad stuff.
yeah.
So what is it that women can do? What is it that they should be doing apart from getting your book? Which
Well, I think, yeah, thank you very much. I think what women should do is, man, I talk about this and I've heard you talk about this before as well. We really have to stop and interrupt our thought pattern and take a deep breath and question now that there's a little bit more information about, about it in the world, in the media, et cetera, on social media. Go, maybe, hey, I'm 43, I am 45, I might even be 39. Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's not me as the person. Maybe it's not me as Karen. Maybe it's Karen's body. And maybe this is normal. And therefore,
Yeah.
now I can start to seek out help or resources or talk to my girlfriends about it. So the first thing I always tell women is go, once you start having, that talk, that self-talk that you haven't had in a while, because
Right.
you're already confident, you're already doing better. You don't give a shit about the petty stuff you cared about in your 20s about, because you're further along in life. If all of a sudden you start doubting yourself, and again, you're staring in the fridge like, what the hell? Take a deep breath and go, okay, maybe maybe I'm not losing my mind. Maybe my mind is changing biologically because there's some things that's going on with my hormones that's causing this.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because I mean, I went to therapy for years, before for different reasons, which I
Yeah.
think is wonderful, but therapy is not going to fix your hormones being off.
No, no
It can
doubt.
help us deal with, ways to cope with it,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily going to fix
And
it.
I think this is really important too, to have, a really good idea about what's about to happen when it starts to happen in perimenopause. And then also as you
Yeah.
transition into full on menopause,
Hmm.
what the expectations are and what they should be, and how you need to start, really giving yourself some grace, how you really have to start taking care of
Yes.
yourself in different ways, psychologically for sure, physically definitely. And so
Yeah.
where I always talk about, it is absolutely non-negotiable that you put self-care into your calendar, and that's it. I don't care if it's an hour every Saturday. I don't care if it's 3 hours every Tuesday morning, whatever it works for you. And a
Yes.
lot of women I speak with are at home, and there's either they're home work, either they're solopreneurs working from home, or they have still youngish children. So they're
Hmm.
at home. And that's where look, I've never had, look, I'm not
I don't,
teaching anybody
yeah,
anything. Don't get me wrong. And I've never had
yeah.
children of my own. But
I
the
haven't
idea of
either.
being able to switch off with a neighbor or a friend, I'm taking that this Saturday for 4 hours. Here are my kids. Do the play date exchanges or
Hmm.
whatever it is that works. Hand them off to your husband that Saturday. For those,
Yeah.
that morning is his, or whatever. A lot of women don't have a husband to do that with, but there's always a way to figure it out. There are meetup groups. There's all kinds of places now
Yes.
that you can find that will help to give you a little bit of break. Obviously, you have to trust the person with, with your children's
With your
life. But
kiddos, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? It's just, you can only be the best you for everybody else around you when you are
When
indeed
you're,
your best you,
yes,
you
uh,
know.
100%. And that is just a stigma that women a lot of us are still
Yeah.
dealing with is we have to, we need to
Mhm.
take care of others before we take care of ourselves. So let's be selfless.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
It's not being selfish to have self-care.
Absolutely.
It is actually going to help others so much more, or put us into a position to be able to help those around us that we love
No
or take
doubt.
care of them once we have taken care of ourselves. Because if not, I mean, it's the foundation of self-care. If not, the house is going to crash.
No doubt. No doubt.
So,
And
yeah.
and then anxiety, potential depression, the self-doubt, like we were talking about before. Oh my God, I'm not enough. I can't get it all done. It's all, the overwhelm of it all. Take the time off. It'll
Yes.
be the best thing you could ever do for yourself, right?
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Take
So
those sick days, take those,
yeah,
personal days, take whatever, or yes, get with friends and say, can you help me an hour or
yeah,
two?
and
This would
yeah,
be great.
family, friends,
Yeah.
whatever it takes, just do it and don't feel
Yes.
bad about it. Again, you're
Yeah.
just as worthy as everybody else that you're taking care of. So just do the thing, girlfriend. Just
Yeah.
do the thing. If every woman listening, remember just one thing about today's conversation. What would you want it to be?
It's funny because before November, I would have said something different. Um, After November with this whole black box removal is
Yeah.
start checking with your insurance providers. I mean, even if self-insured, there are more insurance providers that are starting to provide certain types of menopausal care than there ever have been before. Not all states are on board,
Mhm.
but over half of our states, I was just reading something yesterday because I try to start, on top of all
There's
this,
both.
over
Yeah.
half of our states are finally, they have introduced legislation, whether from a state level or even just insurers are starting to provide it. Not all, but a lot of states have started introducing them, and some have been passing them where there's menopause types of mandate for care. I mean, even in the workplace, just saying, okay, yes, we recognize that this is something that can affect our workers because, I mean, that they want workers to be
Yeah.
productive as well. So the one thing I want them to take away is just start seeing what type of care you have available to you
Yeah.
before you end up like somebody like me 4 years ago that goes, there's nothing. I'm going to start paying out of pocket for everything.
Yes, exactly.
So
Exactly.
first step, do that. And if you still don't, I'm in Texas. We haven't passed anything yet,
Right, 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 right.
right?
Well,
But
this is heartening. It's
and that's
heartening to hear.
okay.
Yeah, it's heartening to hear. It's kind
It's
of like,
starting to get there. Yeah.
yeah, the first thing that came to mind is kind of silly. It's like the change for change. Because when I remember my grandmother used to call it the
Yeah.
change, right? They
Mhm.
used to call it the change back then. Nobody ever said menopause or a
No.
perimenopause was not even a thing until 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, it was like, oh, she's going through the change.
She's going through the
And
change.
it was
Yeah.
really under quiet.
Yeah.
And if a woman was pregnant back in the day, you never said pregnant, you said she was PG.
Oh, yes. Yes.
She's
Yes.
PG.
Yes. The
And
stork is
now it's
coming.
just
Oh my
so
God.
fabulous
Yeah.
that we as women can talk about this openly amongst ourselves and with everyone else as well, with anybody else that'll listen. So the idea now
Yeah.
that there is legislation that, people are starting to like, let's get with the program now,
Yes.
from insurers to states or whatever different mandates. This is really heartening to hear. That's really
Yes.
fabulous news.
Yeah.
So is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would like everybody listening to know?
Wow. If anything, it's look, you're not alone. I mean, with the exception for a couple of women who aren't going to go through it because of other medical conditions,
Right,
right?
right.
Every woman, all of us are going to hit it, should we be lucky enough to get that age, right? So it's okay. You're going to get through it.
Yes.
You're going to lose it. You're going to laugh. You're going to gain
Cry.
weight and lose weight. But know that it, you're a part of a group of all of us that are going through it, and reach out to others because there's nothing like talking to a girlfriend and your girlfriend saying, "Oh my God, I
Yeah.
know." Right? You
Yes.
have that. We all have that community
Like a
around us, and it
sisterhood,
could be a
right?
stranger in the
It's
elevator. You
just,
can
oh yeah,
see
it's a
somebody
sisterhood.
around your
Yes.
same age, and you're just like, "Ah," and they're like, "I hear you." Right there with you,
I'm going to
or
throw one
been
at
through
you.
it,
I'm going to
right?
throw one at you. It's going to sound really funny. I was in Las Vegas when I was going through, and I was kind of like already in menopause, if you will. And
Yeah.
I went to see Menopause, the show.
Mhm.
And as they were, because it was kind of like teaching me about menopause, and I was so relating to everything on stage. And I started to cry, and they went into intermission, and there were women that must have been about 3 or 4 women on my left side that were 20 years older than me at the time.
Uh-huh.
And they said, "Honey, what is wrong?" And I said, "I just got into menopause. I just started menopause." I just started crying uncontrollably. I didn't understand it even myself because I never cry, right?
Right.
And all four of them leaned forward and goes, "Honey, it's okay. You're going to get through it."
Yeah. And by the way, those tears, hormones,
Yeah,
hormones too.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like, give yourself the love, give yourself the grace, give yourself a
Yeah.
hug. If you need a hug, ask for one, and
Yeah.
it's going to be okay.
It will be.
All right.
It'll be fine.
The last question that
Yeah.
I normally ask everybody on my show, Karen, is
Uh-huh.
this. Up until now, you cannot answer
Mhm.
husband at marriage and you can't answer children. Okay, no husbands, no
Well,
children.
that's okay because I am divorced and I have no kids. So there
Okay.
you
Well, I'm single. I've never been married. I don't have any kids.
go.
But up until now, what would you
Mhm.
say has been your crowning moment?
For through perimenopause or through
Up until
life.
now, in your lifetime, what would you say has been your crowning moment?
It was actually getting laid off last March. And I say that honestly because that was the kick in the ass,
Behind.
rear end, what have you. Feel free to
Derriere.
edit should you like.
Derriere.
That was the kick that got me into the self that I am now because of the 20, 30, 40-year dream of writing that I didn't do because I don't know, I wasn't an English major, I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. I always dinked around with it, never put it out there. And so the defining moment for me was getting laid off because I took that as a sign from the universe to go, look,
Right.
Stop being afraid. We're
Yep.
giving you a little severance. You're giving a little unemployment.
Now or never.
Why don't you do it finally? And that changed my life. So nothing I could have ever predicted ever a defining moment would be getting, laid off from a job.
Extraordinary. How exciting.
So,
Where can everybody find your book?
so currently it is on Amazon. So I am working on the audiobook, as a lot of us creatives are. We get sidetracked sideways working on the audiobook, but they can find it on Amazon or on my website, which is KarenAHerrera.com. It'll take you right to Amazon, just a little tip.
Wonderful.
But yes, and then I am working on some other writings, some fiction, some novels and other things too. But, for now, if they want to get some, humor and, hey, I want to hear another woman's perspective.
There you go.
Hopefully it'll help them.
Perimenopause Clarity. Thank you so much, Karen, for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
we had
it.
such a good time. All right, what am I doing here? I don't know how to get out of this. Recording settings. Oh, Karen, hold on. Don't go anywhere. All right, I got it. Okay, hon. Okay. Thank you so much. Be well.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the In the Limelight podcast, intelligent media for the savvy entrepreneur. You'll find my video interviews on YouTube and clarissaburt.com, and the audio version of the interviews you can get wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to connect with me on social, pretty much anywhere, and do stay well until we meet again in the Limelight.